No problem.
Oh my gosh. Let's see now if we are there yet. Are we there yet? Yes, we are there right now. I just want to make sure. Yes, we are. Basil Dawkins. Oh, there you are. Good evening, everyone. This is Leo Gilling on the next installment of One-on-One with Leo Gilling. Tonight, I have the prestigious pleasure, PP, the prestigious esteem, PPE pleasure to speak with someone that I've had so much respect and so much regard for over the years. It seemed like that I have been hearing this name since I was a boy, but him look younger, much younger than me. So me not understand that. So you have to tell me, give me the secret and all them things, because I'm from a little boy here about Basil Dawkins, you know. So how are you, Basil?
Giving thanks and counting my blessings, Leo.
Hold on there. Make we correct this thing here. Because your name spell Basil or Basil or Basil. So you tell me which one of them you want to call it.
The answer, as long as I know it's me, I answer. I don't ever correct anybody. Once I know it's me, I will answer. The truth is, different regions call it differently, and you know, I'm not correct it. I'm comfortable with anything.
Well, some
I have some nicknames where
you know, some people
your place, so any of the Basils will know. Yeah, man.
Some people take offense to their names being called the wrong thing or they're accustomed to. So, you know, I just wanted to make sure.
No man. I'm good with that.
It's good to meet you. It's good to see you.
Pleasure here too. Pleasure.
All right. So, you know, on this show, Basil, we generally just take it from the first day when you recognize that there is a person named Basil Dawkins on earth, you know, and take you all the way to now, so that we get a full story of who you are, so nobody can ask no question and say, boy, I don't know who Basil is, I don't know who Basil is at all. You know, we want them to know where you get the talent from. How is it that you turn big time bossy and all them things? You know.
Yeah, challenge me memory, you know, Leo. Yeah, way back, you know.
Basil, tell me, can you remember the first? Go ahead.
No, ask the question so that I can.
Can you remember the first day that you recognized yourself being on Earth?
That would be maybe when I was somewhere in the region of 4 or 5.
Oh.
Or 6. I think. I don't know, because you know you never check your age at the time. I say yes.
Tell me what you remember. Tell me what you remember. What do you remember?
Actually, it not go so straightforward, you know, Leo. Let me give you a story. You're going to get plenty of stories tonight.
All right.
One day, I was born in Portland, and then shortly after, I went to live in Manchester as a baby.
All right.
And one day, when I could talk and I could function. So maybe I was about 6. My grandparents lived in a 2-story house, and everybody was downstairs. I was upstairs, like in the bed, and I saw a very well-dressed gentleman, 3-piece suit, brown pinstripe, and he had them 2-tone white.
Yes.
and
white and black or white and brown. Yes.
So he came, he looked in, and he never saw anybody, and then he left. And then I remember now that when my mother came up, because she was downstairs, everybody was downstairs. When they came up, I told, it's the kind of house where the top floor is road level, and then the rest of the house is below.
Okay. Yes.
So he came to the veranda from off the road. But what happened, Leo, is that when they came up, I was telling them that the man came and left, and apparently never saw it. So they asked me to describe the man. And just as I just told you, how the man was dressed. And my mother called my grandmother. And them talk, you know, hear what them say, and then them gone. Leo, when I was in about second form, high school now in Westmoreland, I went to Madings. When I was in about second form, my grandmother was ailing that time. And my mother, I was in the room one day and they said, Basil, you remember one day when you were a little baby, you toddler, you called us and told us about this man who came to the veranda and looked in and turned back. And I say, yes, man, the man with the brown suit with the 3-piece. And them say, wait, you still remember? So I say, how old was I at that time? And them say, you might have been about 4 or 5-ish. But the amazing thing about that, that's why I know it. The amazing thing about that, Leo, is that that man had died 5 years before. You see that?
Oh God.
When I told them go talk with them one another without being here, that man had apparently died like 5 or 6 years before I was born. And I wouldn't have known him at all. And I described him to the T.
What a way to become aware of yourself. You see, dopey.
Yeah, it's every nose every there. It's not every nose every there, man. So that is how it went. And then, so as I said, I was born in Port Antonio. I soon left to Manchester. I went to primary school in Manchester, Pike Primary School in Manchester.
So you didn't go to primary school in Portland?
No, man. I left there when I was like 2, 3, 4, 5 months.
Okay.
I went to Pike Primary School, and then when I naturally passed the common entrance, it was to go to Knox.
But hold on, you go too fast now. Tell me about primary school. Give me the name of your teacher them.
Primary school was a kind of uncertain of myself, very shy and sheltered, and still shy and sheltered, you know, Leo.
Oh, is that right?
My sojourn there was Eric James was my principal, and his wife Olive James were like them, like she teach the ABC class and him teach the 6th class. You know, wife and husband teachers.
Yes.
And I had some very good teachers, as I recall, Miss Hewitt and Mrs. Gallimore and all of them.
So you had ABC class in primary school?
A class, them call it. Yeah.
A class. Oh my God. Oh my God. I've not met anybody in years who called the grade 1 A class.
You know, tell us about go back, man.
Oh my God. It's like when me say A class, nobody understand what me talk about. Okay. It's like a foreign business.
Yeah, man. So you used to go A class, then B class, I think C class, no, A, B, and then you go
three.
Grade 1, no, Form 1 and Form 2, and then it go up. But
no, man, you go A class, B class, then grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So basically, primary school was that. So I passed the common entrance to go to Knox. Because Pike was the kind of feeder school for Knox College.
Okay.
Up in Christiana, you know? Yes. But between when the results came out and time to go to school, my mother, who is a social welfare officer, and those days, government employees get transferred anywhere at any short notice, anytime. Right. So by the time the announcement was made as to going to Knox, by the time the term started, she was in Westmoreland. So I actually ended up at Manning's as a result.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
So when people ask me where my roots there and so on and so forth, I tell them basically the way I move all over the place based on where my mother was transferred. We regard the whole of Jamaica as my roots.
Okay.
And let me tell you, one of the ill effects of that is that for a long time, I never got attached to people wherever I was, because just as I was getting accustomed to them and we built a bond, it was about the same time that we were transferred to somewhere else. And I had to go and start again all over. So as part of my own emotional protection as a child, I tried up until about third form in high school not to get attached. By I was getting older now, the transfer never so erratic and all over the place. And my mother, they have a level of seniority and so on.
What did your mom do? What did your mom do? Tell me, what did your mom do?
She was in social work. So she was what was called back then a community development officer. And the community development officers worked with the Social Development Commission, as it was then, which was our Jamaica social welfare, because it was a construct of Norman Manley, who believed in the development of villages and communities. And I think it was continued and intensified by Seaga when he became Minister of Welfare, when he was just a new little minister. So basically, her responsibility was to deal with all aspects of community development, which included literacy. So she used to have to teach literacy classes. She used to have to be attached to a church. So she had an organist, so that was easy. She had to deal with drama, village community drama. Back in those days, the Social Welfare Commission used to send down scripts, theatrical scripts for the communities to involve the villagers.
Like the JCDC stuff, them, right?
But this was before JCDC.
Right. But this was like that, yeah.
This is what, when Eddie Siaga came and JCDC came, it took over that aspect of it.
Oh.
You understand? So therefore, what used to happen, how it used to work, Leo, is that Jamaica Social Welfare would send down the scripts. And the scripts dealt with things like literacy, it dealt with things like encouraging people to get married, because children out of wedlock was a major issue. Yes. Behavior, man and woman behavior, relationships, that kind of thing. Those kinds of things that touch the community. So it was through drama that part of the community education took place. So there was a literacy ABCD that you teach people to read, but there's also the cultural inculcation now and creating the norms and values in the community through the drama. So most of those scripts that
I want to hold you right there, because I was in a conversation on another show last night and we were talking about morality, values, and ethics.
Yeah.
And we said something happened, something is missing, something fell off the bridge, in a 30-year span. And now we are in a place where people don't value morals and stuff anymore. So your mother was holding up all of that stuff back in the 60s.
That was part of her, but let me contextualize it socially for you.
Yeah.
It was also the period when people migrated to England. Remember, everybody forget a little break out of the community. At England, you have to go.
You go England.
Some of them go and turn nurse. It was the England in the Windrush period.
Yes.
So therefore, what you also had as a result of that was that you had children whose mother or their father gone, and his grandparents raised them up. You understand?
Yes, yeah, man.
So you have to understand that context too. So basically, those were some of the issues that she had to deal with. Then she taught people to cook, to even develop good household domestic servants, they used to call them those days.
Right.
Teach them that they can do them little accounts, teach them how to cook, how to make up bed, how to everything. She dealt with all aspects of community development.
Okay.
And they also had what was called the 100 Villages competition, where villages would compete to see whatever were the indices. Remember, I said I did picnic, so I never know.
Right. But you're saying some really
nice
nice
things. Learn vicariously through the things happening at my home. So therefore, what used to happen too is that wherever we used to have things like concerts and
yes.
them kind of things, and most of the times the rehearsals were taking place at my house or near me, or my mother was either the director or the something. So basically, I think when people ask where they get the idea that means playwright, I think it was embedded from those days.
Yes,
because I recall that the scripts that I used to read when I was 9 or 10 or 9, 10, 11 were scripts that were written by Easton Lee, the late Easton Lee. Because he used to work with Social Development Commission at the head office, and they used to churn out the material that should be disseminated in the various villages. So basically, I've got some sound cultural awareness from those days.
Some got injected in you.
Yeah, I never knew. And I never ever participated. My mother never insisted. One of the things though, is I recall my mother was she was more than worried about my ability to be sociable, because I'm in the dark, Leo. When we say dark, people say people shy. Me never shy, man. Me is dark.
So you left
me there with close knitted people when me used to. I mean, all right, and as a stranger come, me gone, gone run at the back of the house. Somehow, and then as I grew and got to high school, I think my mother noticed that it was still happening. And then she recommended to me that at some point in time, I should look at drama as a mechanism to get me out of the shyness. Which I never took up at high school at all.
Were you a regular young boy running track and field and playing soccer? And you never did that?
I did a little, but one of the things that, as I tell people, is not, and I wasn't settled until when I went to Manning's and then found out that I would be staying there. And even if I changed to another village or another place, I would still end up going to Manning's. So Manning's was kind of my center, even if I moved to other communities, as my mother would have had to.
Okay, so I don't hear you talking about your brother, your sister, your father, and so forth.
My mother took on people. So I have plenty brothers and plenty sisters, and they came. Some of them stay along, some of them go away, some of them migrate to England, some of them, them kind of way. But basically, it was me and my mother, and then one half sister, a cousin who lived with us. She was my uncle's child, but my mother, she was one of the, but that my mother adopted, and Bev, and she stayed with us. But basically, the other thing too is that it's a strange thing. People wonder why I tell people, but I never met my father until I was 15 only. 50 something somewhere in Florida or somewhere like
50?
50 something, more than 50. 50 something. I don't know why I don't keep dates, but But basically, all along my growing up, there was a period where I naturally thought that my father was really my grandfather, because he was the father figure that influenced. And then now, when I was old enough to ask about my father, because I realized now that who me think is my father is really my mother's father.
Right.
So and I don't know, I was under the impression that he died shortly after I was born, or when I was born, or before I was born. But however it was. But I went through all of that period. When I know that I have a father, first day I went into Manning's, and the form teacher had to fill out forms, about your parents and so on and so forth. And when them asked me, Leo, my father name, me never know. So by lunchtime, he was the most famous child in the school, the laughing stock of everybody.
Oh, Jesus.
So I never know my father name.
Oh my God.
And
I want to know how that affected you. How did that affect you?
I wasn't aware of it. I mean,
no. Just this awareness, the awareness that you didn't have a father and you should have a father, and now everybody laughing at you.
Only time it ever affected me was that first day at Manning's, when they asked me what my father name. We never know. And the teacher spread it to everybody.
That's what I'm asking. How did that make you feel? How did that make you
terrible,
feel?
Man, terrible. And then I had a very bad day at first day at school because of that. And then because everybody I come look for me, it's like we stand out like us, And then when I went home, I remember when I went home, I told my mother that they want to know what my father name. And she said, what they want to know that for? And I said, I don't know. Teacher said. So I knew that something
wasn't right. Something was off.
And then I remember the morning when I was going to school for the second, that time I fret now, Leo, because I now look forward to go back to school the following day, And then just before the bus came, she slipped something, a piece of paper in my hand, and say, like, she never say your father's name, but me say this Sydney Dawkins, so me know say, is that we must carry go get teacher. And but what was very stressful about the occasion, I saw her cry.
Because of that?
Yeah, she handed it to me and she was crying. And I said, she wiped the tears before I go in the bus. So it was a very heavy and terrifying day, when we hand the thing to the teacher and them says my father name. And that is when I realized that me had a father and he had a name. That is that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question. There are two questions coming, right? Because I'm very interested in. What did you find out between mom and dad? What happened?
Eventually, why such a long story that we have to talk about then. What happened? It never raised its head again. Nobody, it never come up. There was no reason for it to come up. I wasn't curious, and them clearly wasn't anxious to talk. And then eventually my mother got married to my stepfather, and he was a good stepfather. So, never no issue. However, when I was big man now, graduate from university, and I used to work with the Ministry of the Public Service, the Management Services Division. And one of the things they had to do was to them send you out to go give lectures and presentations. So one time I was sent to the college, the FACT, what name again? Finance and something, college or something. Senior civil servants, you teach. And I went there and I taught a class, and it was just before lunch. I stayed back for lunch, and a lady came to me and said, "What's your father's name?" And I said, me tell her, because I remember the same time, I remember the first one. So me tell her, that first one, there's a day I will never forget. And when I told her, she said, "Are you in touch with him?"
What?
Am I in touch with him?
Okay.
And I said, "No, I've never known him. As a matter of fact, I think he is dead." But I said, I don't really know much because nobody speaks about him and so on and so forth. And she said, "He's not dead." She said, "From you come in the class and stand up at the lectern," I said, "Him speak like somebody and him look and him have all the mannerisms of my husband's supervisor at Alcon or Riviera, one of them backside place." So she said, she said, "Listen, me and my husband not really on terms right now, but I got to deal with him on this." She said, "Your father like, man, you talk like him, you have the same mannerisms, and and him name Dawkins, and from you open your mouth." We know say the related. And she organized, and do you know, Leo, she organized for us to meet. She set it up, Her husband whatever them do, them set it up. And like we were supposed to meet on a lunch date, like the following Wednesday or 2 Wednesdays after that. By this time now, I am kind of fairly discovered because I've done my first play and it was a success. And, she said when she went to him, he went into the car trunk and took out all the newspapers with all the reviews of the plays and everything in the car trunk. But she said, to tell me now, say, "Listen, man, him have a wife there, you see. If she ever know, say him did have a son, because she said, I am sure he does not. She does not know and think. And that is why the thing in the car trunk." And she said, she and her husband go look for him in Spanish Town, because he was by this unaccomplished businessman, I think leave Revere and or wherever the backside company. And when live up at St. Diego Heights and very established. And she said when she went to him, him take her down at the car and say, him thing, but then she said, "Then Sydney, why you not go deal with him?" And so, say, "Boy, the wife, in the home we do that now. Marriage, mash up." But she said, "But you married years after him." that not supposed to come in, that not supposed to be part of your thing. And anyway, she organized up the meeting to go lunch, and then put on my fineries, and by this time now I'm a middle manager at Mutual Life and doing well, established Playwright. We don't establish it, but people are going to let me establish. Plenty publicity associated with this young boy where writing first script and it's so successful. So dress up and go up at, where the restaurant the name again? Nice restaurant up at Mall Plaza, Chinese restaurant. You forget where it name. Why? Leo, I know me wait for him, come here.
Christ almighty, Jesus, oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, come here, So when the lunchtime done and everything, me give him like a little half or more, and me go back at the office. And that I know my boss, we was a female, me have a female boss, she come and want know how it go and everything. He say, him never come, And me say, Leo, me see my boss start crying. And me I said, then, people are taking it so personal. And yeah, we didn't want to see him, but if something might happen, I don't know. The lady who first brought him to my attention, when we tell her, she started crying too. And she not want to cry. She called her husband and them go. Him couldn't go like a few days after, like the weekend. That was the Wednesday. It was the lunch day. The weekend, they went back to St. Diego Heights to go look for him. Empty house. For sale. Contact a real estate agent.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Me say,
Oh,
but Leo, the person who took it the hardest was the lady who, like, she feel guilty, say, as she go store up Ant's nest, and she and I are friends even now. But she felt so bad that she did something, but she think she was doing something good. Anyway,
I want to go to the day when you finally met him then, because
right.
I want to know what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. By this time now, me really established as a playwright now. Everybody know me as playwright. And Sunshine Theater in Florida, who used to be my sponsors.
Right.
I was going up there with a play. I was starting a tour, Mother's Day, to go up to Atlanta and so on. She kept calling me, Jackie Shaw kept calling me and said, there's this lady who said them doing family tree and they want to know your antecedents and history and your people and lineage and everything. So we said, Jackie, tell the lady, say, me no know, you know, can't help her. I don't know nothing about no Dawkins. So cut me out. Anyway, she said the ladies keep insisting. So, Leon, when we go to the plane in Florida, the lady come talk to me. Nice lady, very pleasant and professional, you know. And then when we done talk, I mean, assure her, say she not go get nothing from me. She said, the only thing I look now, I say, I wonder if we can take her on a date, sir. She look fine.
Okay.
Then at the end of the discussion, and she ready to go in now, Leo, she said, here, you know, so if you should meet your father now, what would be your feelings towards him and so on? So me say, me no have no feeling to me don't know him. Me go feel, me have no feeling. My mother never said nothing bad about him, nor nothing good. We thinking dead. So, you know, neither here nor there to me. Me a big man now, me have my own family. Me not really. And me say one thing he taught me is how to be a good father. Because no matter what happened to me and my wife or anybody,
you are going to be there for your kids.
I think that I'm not going through that life. Okay. So she said, anyway, I think I know your father, you know. He's my uncle.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Said,
okay.
I was in his plantation, I was staying, right?
Yes.
And he live on North Miami Beach. So him just down the road.
20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah?
20 minutes.
By this time now, him have a second wife. It's a new wife him have now.
Okay.
So, and they had them migrate the time when you see the house in for sale and things, them rush and go live at Texas because him couldn't afford, it was getting too close to home. So when she said, all right, if I would be prepared to see him and talk to him, and we see him, man, we have no problem. So, but it couldn't happen because like I was going away to Atlanta the following day. I was flying out like in the morning, so it couldn't happen because I had other shows. So I went up Atlanta one day and I get a call. And the person say, hello, is that Basil? We say, yes. And we say, oh, this second. And we say, Basil O'Connor Dawkins? We say, yes. It's a son of Eva Jean Buckner. How would this? Yeah. But then in the back of my mind, yo, I say, but the brother has sound like me, so I saw me. He sound like me, so. So I say, yes, who is this? Him say, like him say, this is Sydney something another Dawkins, whatever your middle name was, reporting for duty, sir. Late reporting for duty.
They're reporting for duty. Oh my God. That's a nice, that's quite poetic. That's quite poetic, reporting for duty.
For duty. So, and Leo, you know, say me and him talk for about 3 hours straight on the phone.
Whoa.
3 hours straight. And him tell me, say, boy, me never deserve your mother. Your mother was so nice. But him say, really and truly, what caused the split up is that when him got to me, him got to my mother, father, my grandfather, who me know and think was my father, and say, him would like the hand of my mother if he married auntie. My grandfather say, okay, you're going to take her out of my house. Show me the house that you're going to put her in.
Yeah, said, I know them kind of deal there. Okay, all right.
My grandfather was a sergeant of police, and he was a new fresh foot constable. So, and then we became good friends after that. Every time I go in Florida, him, you know, like him want to come do something for me. So him carry me go a bank or him whatever we go. He was really a nice guy, you know. We kind of see where we get like traits.
But okay, what are some of the things that came up that were uncomfortable in that conversation?
Nothing was uncomfortable. He told me the situation. He said, when your mother left, him say, I knew you when you were 2 months, but you left Portland when you were about 2 months and go live in a one place named Shudley in Manchester. Now him said, to go and look for you is one bus from Portland to Kingston. Oh. Then you have to sleep at Kingston. And then you take one next bus the following day, go to Manchester, Mandeville. But the bus now, the confidence bus from Mandeville, we pass your way now, is the other morning. You understand? So he says, he make the trip one time. And it take him about 3 days to just come one way. And at the same time, when he reached out, no, my grandfather said he can't stay at the house. So he never know if he sleep the night, if he sleep out by the veranda. And he take him bus and leave. And him say it just couldn't work after that.
So his convenience make him couldn't come to you.
Well, it was, obstacles. There were obstacles that
there are other obstacles between her and your mother and
but he said she was a fine woman and whatever. Anyway, when him talk, we meet him new wife. His new wife was maybe a year or two older than me. I may say, you know, and she was a loving lady, you know. She embraced me. She wanted to know what she could have done. If them could have filed for me, make me turn, file for me family member and them kind of things. And I say, not really.
So he's still alive, right?
No, man.
Oh, he's not alive. Okay.
He died.
Okay.
He died about 4 years after.
Oh.
Well, they found him in his house with him dog with him, unconscious, and then brush him. Apparently, he got a stroke, but because he was at home alone, my stepmother then she's a nurse that runs a facility. She leave out early and come back late. So basically, he was at the, funnily though, Leo, like about 2 weeks before that, he used to call me like every day, you know, but sometimes he used to duck him because you have to have time. Can him retire, you know, and him not feeling no pain in life. So, and him called me one day, and him said, Basil, I have a task for you that it's almost unfair to ask you to do it, but I can't think of no one else. Him said, when I die, or if I become unconscious, I don't want no tube or no this in me to extend my life. If me dead and them have to put me on a machine to save my life, I am not into it. Him say, no, I cannot tell my family, which is the same girl when they come talk to my father and so. It's two brothers, you know. So him say, I can't tell them. Because if him tell them not go one, them not, and when him tell him wife says she ain't getting into that with that family because them tight, you know.
Okay.
So him said, you are the only one. And him said, Basil, seriously, me live my life, me do my mistakes, me ask God forgiveness, and me all right, me can't cut now. Me not really need to linger. So he was 87 when he died. He said, but it's a strong 87. So the week after that it happened, and them tell me, when they called me and tell me that he's in a hospital and he's unconscious and him look agitated and angry and thing, and we talked to him wife and we said, listen now, Sidney told me, I see those me used to call him, see those say, him no want none of them tube things in him, you know. That when him, she said, me know, you know, but I am not telling him people I'm not. So Mr. Norman, him tell me that me should do it. Him know that you wouldn't have the credibility to do it, but him say I would. So me call him people him. The same cousin we did first, when we did think we were go check. We call her and talk to my uncle and tell him say yeah, he said it, and them remove the plugs and whatever them supposed to remove. And them same smile, beautiful smile, and so much so that they made me talk to him on the phone. Him couldn't talk back, you know, but they put the phone in his ears and made me talk to him. And I just say, see those, boy, I look like I just so the thing going on, you know, you have to just let go and go on, you know, because you make your peace and you're all right. Me and you all right. And as far as me see everybody all right, and it's a love still, you know. And him say him just smile again and just go. That was the end of that story. So I went to I went to the funeral in Florida, and my daughter and my son were there too. So because they had just started to build a relationship with him. But that time my daughter was in Vermont going to Bennington College, and my son was in Howard, and you know, but every occasion they got there, we would gather. And because him, as I say, he was a very fun guy. A big man, but him very fun, you know. And for the little 4 years or 5 years, or however much it was a good relationship. So
that's you know, that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
Because generally there's anger and frustration.
Yeah. No, man, we never have any of those things. We never have any of those
That's really nice. That's really nice.
So I'm sure that this story took you off of your interview.
I'm telling you, well, you know, it's the best story ever. I mean, I don't even know how to transition into anything else that I want to talk about, because it's such a riveting and captivating thing. It's really, really nice.
And I rush in it. You know, because I kind of get fascinated with the man. Let me tell you, Leo, he might have Benz, you see? And he used to insist that every time I come Florida, I must take it and drive it, because I'm not going nowhere really. And I said, no, Sidney, I prefer you drive it and we sit down and talk. So he used to love that. So one morning, I tell him to come for me, pick me up at the hotel, and let's go. I had some banking transaction to do. So I say, can I go to the bank? He said, yeah, man, no problem. Come and pick me up. I needed to talk to the bank manager. So we went in. Sidney sit down in the little area for the visitors. We go in, talk to the bank manager for about 15 minutes. Come out. When we come out, Leo, we see my father. And all the women, them just round him. So when we go to him, I say, all right, Silas, we're ready now. He said, come here, man, let me introduce you to some of my friends. Okay. So he introduced me to the, oh, Sidney, this is your son and thing, and them. all the people. So when I walk out of the bank now, I say, then Sydney, you know all them people there? He said, I don't know them, I don't just meet them, man. You want to get them a friend? He said, then suppose you didn't meet me 30 years ago.
Oh, God Almighty.
So he said, and then he said to me, Basil, don't ever be afraid to be friendly and make friends with people. They might feel, don't offend them nor do nothing, but just be sociable and stuff, be nice, because you might be the only nice interaction they have had for a long time, and it no cost you nothing. As you see, he say, you know, see me and all of them, my friend. Me don't know them, they not see me again, I mean not see them again. But
I like that.
That him say, yeah man, him say, no leave no enemy. And him say most of the time when decisions go and make on your life, to go or not to go, and somebody else have to make the decision, chances are you are not going to be there. Live your life in such a way that the other person or some other person will be able to say, yeah man, Dawkins is a good boy, man. Yeah man, that will make him go through.
That's nice to hear.
He said that is the way you must live, and he said don't cost you none.
Have you made the story into a play yet?
No, I have looked at the concept, and the concept would require like me at be 3 actors,
right?
Because there's have to show profession, and so on. And it kind of a little problematic. So
okay,
we said no, but I have included it in a lot, not a lot, but in speeches, and I find that people are very moved by the fact that how come we never have no pain or nothing to get over, no anger, nothing. Yes. But because one of the things that I've always learned from a long time is forgiveness is not a thing that you do for somebody, When you forgive somebody, it's something that you're doing for yourself, because the energy, if you keep remembering, say that Leo is an enemy. So every time they see me, if you remember, say if you knit up my face because I win. And it destroys. So when you forgive Leo now, and you restore him to wherever was his status before the transaction, when you think him victimized you or so, you're free. And freedom and that liberation is enhancing for your life, so
Basil, I think that a lot of persons are going to learn from just what you just said a while ago. And I hope that they're listening really, really carefully.
Forgiveness is one of the most liberating things, man. Somebody hurt you and you feel vexed, and you recognize you feel vexed, and you just say, brethren, so we never did like that little thing there, but no. We are good friends still. Nobody make you in a trouble and go and call me one day because you did do me that. So you're not call me, man. Me can be.
So what made you into a playwright?
Oh, boy, you need another OL. Remember I told you that my mother always told me to if I ever got the opportunity, I should go on stage and become start acting, not become an actor, just start acting to get accustomed to hearing my voice in public and those things as part of the thing to get over my shyness. So John, come up university, first year, freshman's year, I saw Trevor Rowan Smile Orange on stage, liked it and said, and that my mother said, I think we could have do that. But by the time we walk from the Creative Arts Center back up to my hall in Taylor Hall, all the negative and the self-doubt start coming out. But then people start from them young, and you have to have advice, and you start telling yourself all the reasons why. Because every time you're going to make a move in Leo, there's always a voice inside. I'm going to give you all the rationale why it mustn't happen,
Agreed.
And sometimes you believe it. If you're not train yourself not to believe that voice, you start believe it and it holds you back.
Right.
So make a note of it, and I say, boy, it would be so nice. But I had a friend at Manning's who he used to be very active in theater at Manning's. And when they had the inter-hall competition for drama, he was very involved. And one day we said, we'll just go down there and see where they are going. Just watch him in rehearsal, And I went, so I stand up at the door of the Creative Arts Center. And them rehearsing, and the director look around and say, him need some people for a crowd scene. And him look around, see nobody, and say, yo, come here. Come here, go stand up over there. Just stand up over there. You don't have nothing to do. When the people move off, you move off with them. And when them come on, you come on. So I don't need that man up in the crowd.
So you all want to play the whole crowd.
At the end of that, though, Leo, at the end of the rehearsal, him say, when he was setting the other rehearsal schedule, and me, of course, me just ease up myself and himself, you don't have any classes between so and so. Me say, no. Him say, welcome then. You're in the cast now. You're part of the play. So me was so delighted that them give me 2 or 3 lines. 1 line. Forget where the line. Leo, I rehearse the line. Me dep on me toilet, me dep on the line. Me in the mirror, me deliver me line. Me know the line. Me, you that things I want sonnet by Shakespeare, man. I want line, And I don't know sensible line. I want me a crowd, And Leo, the night of the performance, man, the place ran. My girlfriend, as she was then, was there, and everybody, all big and everybody. And then me up there, man, me act out my life. My crowd seeing them. And then, me hear a man. Hear a man go say me line, man. Me big line when me have studied for the last 8 weeks, man. A man go bust it. And me say, me cut my face, and so when me vex with the rest of it, me not know what going after. Because the way me vex, how the man gone with me line. So when me come off now, me said, me feel so vexed. Me said, JB, that I'm a friend who did first let me go watch them. He said, JB, because I'm a big star, right? He said, JB, how a man just take with me line and just say it so? He said, Deco, it's about 1 minute we are waiting for you if you say the line, and so he say it. I was the play couldn't go on.
I'm wait for you in say it.
Look for you and I wait for you that thing and just proud of yourself. And we are him say, man, I'll try make you know say line. We don't see none of that all now, Leo. And then me say that feeling they never feel bad, I go start. And after that, I did that for the whole of my undergraduate years, I did about 14 plays.
Whoa!
From
not getting
from crowd up to supporting up to right. And then when I graduated now, couldn't do full-time theater because I'm a work schedule and traveling and all them things there. So I decided to write. So that's how I decided to write. And I wrote my first play during this state of emergency, 76.
76.
Yeah, when you couldn't go out, the curfew
yes.
and this and that.
Yes.
And it's on TV, JVC TV, and it's black and white. So I decided to write.
What was the name of the play?
Flatmate. First, Flatmate. Write it, never know if you do it. Enter it in at the festival. Festival again, come back, come reach me. Enter it.
Wow.
My mother was still alive. She saw it. Got a bronze medal.
Oh.
And that's not bad, but no, gone back to normal life until the festival office, Barry Johnson called me and said, young man, what are you going to do about that play? He said, nothing. Me did just want to prove to myself that I can write a play. Write a play, me done. Have the corporate life to deal with. I said, no. He said, listen to me, young man. When you write a play, it's like you're pregnant. Until it is played on a stage, you have not delivered that baby yet. You don't know what the potential is. Go get that play delivered. And he called me back when I was, and he said to me, Trevor Rowan's Smile Orange, that is now a big movie. After I'd run for how much? About 3 years in a barn theater, won a bronze medal.
Oh.
So don't underestimate yourself.
Oh my.
And that story now is another story, because one thing forget, nobody if pay no attention to me, forget it on a stage. Because back in those days, Leo, is upper St. Andrew Brown people and them kind of people involved in a theater.
Yes.
And if you never come through the pantomime, the national pantomime, or you weren't trained in England,
Right.
Louis Bennett and Leo Forbes and Charles Hyde and Trevor Rowan and those people.
Yes.
You had to come through the pantomime.
Yes.
I never came through any of them.
Oh.
It was difficult for me. So doors were slammed in my face. People were whole unsavory things. That is when I formed this very strong opinion that when you black, come from country, and nobody know your father, you really have to find a way to succeed through.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah,
man.
Yes.
So because I never get so much rejection yet.
Yes.
About a year of it. And then I had a friend, by this time now, I just married her. I married a little while. But he sold me furniture for my first home with me and my wife. And one day he said to me, Basil, how you talk about you want people to produce a play and thing? Well, you're not going to produce it yourself. He said, no, sir, you think producing a play is a easy something? I said, me write it and me hand it over to him. Say, listen to me, man. You know more about theater now than me and you about furniture manufacturing when me started.
Yes.
So him said, what involved? And we kind of outlined to him, say, need money for that, this and that. And he said, may I come for you lunchtime, Monday, and we go up on my bank. I will go up at the bank and me think the man just have an outline. The man will tell the man, say, me have a whatever year electric lathe, we value so and so and so, give him a loan.
Oh,
and the bank manager give me a loan. The bank manager give me a loan of 3,000. Me get 2,000 from a credit union. And my father-in-law lent me $3,000. $8,000 for produce play. That way, cost $2 million now,
Yes.
But Leo, we produce a play, we got through one difficulty. And the day the play was supposed to open, my friend who just died the other day, Hugh Martin, the author, Hugh Martin used to work at JBC, it was then, JBC. And said, him call me and said, Dawkins, that time I work at Mutual Life. Him call me and him say, Dawkins, what happened? What happened to the play? Why not opening this evening? So me say, what you mean say not opening this evening? No, man, we are home, man, everything all right. Him say, no, Deco, there has been about the third public service announcement now on JBC when me hear right just so in the office of JBC me there, and me hear 3 public service announcements gone. Say, because of unforeseen reasons, the play cancelled. We say, you Martin, what are you saying to me? He said, Deco, look, I just become a find myself with a break now, and me just said to myself, must find out from Deco who are gone, but them have to reschedule the play. I first year.
So what was that about?
Listen to me now, man. Leo, when we sit down, that time we just go on Mutual Life. We go on Mutual Life this September. So me not have no tenure on Mutual Life. This is in February. They play home February the 22nd. We go on Mutual Life like the end of September. And we go and we collapse in my chair. And we say, Jesus have mercy. And we start see all the people when we owe. And we say, Avil. electric late and live out of the factory and gone. No, man, it wasn't a good feeling. And my boss, God bless her. She see me and she see me with my wing clip, man. My arm was next to death. Because this is about 2 o'clock now, you know. 2:30. Yeah,
it's supposed to open at 6.
Yeah, and the player go open 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah. And me I hear this now, and me I say, what me I gonna do? And then my boss say, she'll go up to one of the vice president them. And then after that, them call me up on the 11th floor, going to Jim Parks office. That time I think Jim Parks feel like God, you know, I go to Jim Parks and Jim Parks say, I hear what don't worry yourself. How many tickets you sell already? And I tell him, say, about 60. How much more left to be sold? And I tell him. Him say, they have been bought. They have a full house tonight.
Oh! Why somebody else, you know, who walk with you? That man in the brown shoes. The 2-0 shoes. That man there walk with you.
The night, we had a full house. Have to turn back people. And Leo, by the next week, I had to put in, we were supposed to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had to start play from Wednesday, and then like 2 weeks after that, we have to start play from Tuesday.
Wow.
It was just a phenomenal success.
So give me the story. Is it because you were a black man who don't have a father who live in Kingston? What was the story behind it?
So I just find, say, for example, Leo, me find, say, if me did go KC,
yeah,
or if somebody just know me pedigree or know, say, could have vouched for me or it was nobody. We never have nobody.
But what caused the JBC announcement? That's what I'm asking.
The JBC announcement?
Yes.
Put it this way, jealousy. There was another producer who felt that you have to go broken foot.
Yes.
But I tell you something. I tell you something about forgiveness. Him don't know up to today
that
you
know. Oh God.
Him don't know. And Leo, he has come to me on more than one occasions to lend him good money. I lend him and he don't pay me back and I still don't.
Well, did you ever have another conversation with Barry Johnson? I want to know that. Did you ever have another conversation because of him get you going?
Yeah, no man, we became very good friends, man. We became very good friends after that. And we used to meet up a Buddy Poy at Yard and Barry and Buddy. Because of Barry now, we get to know the Leonis and the Charles Hyatt.
Right, okay.
That's
what I want to know.
So it was easy to access them now when we needed them to do a play. Other than that, we are like this, but that helped a lot. But by and large, if there's any lesson, there's one. Still again, you see where forgiveness overcome.
Yes.
The obstacles and the problems that life threw at you. And life will always throw things at you, but if you can find it in yourself to look at and say, what are the lessons? Who may need to forgive? Who when may I get hold on for? Because who may I hold on? I must have hold on somebody. And try unravel all the knots them. And you know, so even now, and I find that my daughter do the same thing nowadays. So she will just call somebody and say, how you do? How you feel? Everything all right?
Yes.
Just for no reason at all, you understand? And I find that if you live them very simplistic ways of living, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes.
Forgive somebody when they do you wrong.
Yes.
Cause people to laugh instead of cause people to laugh.
Yes.
You know?
Come on. Yeah. So let me ask you this there. No. Yeah. Since that first play in the 70s, how many more have you produced? One. Which one? Give me 5 of the best that in your thoughts, the 5 of the best. And where do you go from here? All
right. The first question, that was 1980. I did Flatmate. And since that, I've done over 30 others. And they have been all written and produced by myself. And I mean, of course, with a lot of help along the way, you know, because you and can do this thing.
Yeah,
And
right.
I would say that I am relatively at the top of my game, if there's any sort, because it has been a sustainable activity. I've been able to leave corporate. I was able to send my children, them go to overseas colleges. And, you know, basically things have been good. With the COVID, you know, I don't know where we are going, boss.
Tell me your favorite players, then. The favorite ones.
The favorite players.
5 of them. Give me 5 of them.
All right. I would have to put the first one, Flatmate, in it, because
yes,
funnily, there was one that was a major flop.
Yes.
Named Pastor and Mrs. Jones. That was the second name, right? Pastor and Mrs. Jones. Listen to me now. You see, when we write the first play, we never have no expectations of myself, and nobody has no expectations of me. You see, when we write the second one, now star no man, we big arrive. His cat's pajama, you understand?
Yes.
He said, God just juked me, man. Just bring me right
back to earth.
Right on back, man.
Okay.
I have to call it one of my favorite because it ground me and get me to learn the lessons and restart with humility and respect for your audience and respect for everybody around you.
Yes.
So there was that. Then there is the one with Bust Me International, you know, was Champagne and Sky Juice with Leonie Forbes and Charles Hyatt.
Yes.
No, it's not the one. When I came to California, that was Toy Boy with Bollier Johnson.
I remember Toy Boy with Bollier. Mm-hmm. That's where I met you, actually. That's where I met you. Yeah.
Right. And there is, I think there's one with Oliver we may like to. Remember, Divorce Papers? One with Oliver Samuels. That because, but you know, asking me which of my plays are favorites is like asking a man. Out of them 5 pick there, which one are you really hearing? You love all of them differently. Yes, for example, that positioned me.
Yes.
In the eyes of intellectual theater aficionados. And there are some that maybe didn't do that, but they were financially rewarding.
Yes.
And then there are some that allowed me to go to play in theaters that I wouldn't ordinarily have had access to. And some, you know, me go to England, me go tour, me go enough place because of theater. So we give thanks for the journey because I've enjoyed it, and hopefully I have helped one or two along the way too.
Virgin, let me tell you this. I have had many interviews, and this is the only one that we stayed on one topic for the entire day, right? But let me tell you something. It's the most riveting. It's the most riveting I have had. It's really, really good. Great story.
Thank you.
And feel, listen, you have the opportunity to come on my show anytime you want. I told you that before. Yes, anytime. Just pop in. You have the Zoom. Just pop in. But it's been such a pleasure. You know, you can tell your family thanks. Tell your family thanks and everybody else thanks. You know.
Yeah. It was a pleasure. Really enjoyed the hour. I mean, I'm on office, but we can't turn on nothing because we disturb the broadcast. So you see how me I sweat?
Yes.
The system is too low.
All right. Basil, thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. And we'll talk again soon, right?
I look forward to us talking some more.
All the time.
Off air.
Respect.
Blessing.
Have a nice evening. Goodbye now.